Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me today. As you can tell by the title, I'm finally bringing you guys my F.I.T video. I'm literally about to finish my associates and I've never made this video. I actually filmed it like 3 times and it never came out how I wanted. I felt like I was rambling and things like that. So today's video, I'm going to be having timestamps down below and I'm going to be breaking the video up into like categories and topics. Just for reference, all my opinions are going to be coming from a fashion design major's opinions and also a commuter, but also someone who's already lived in New York and is pretty familiar with the city. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. That's where I'm coming from when I'm giving my opinion and kind of sharing my thoughts on it. But definitely check out down below if you guys aren't applying for fashion design or you guys are just interested in like a specific topic. I'm going to be talking about the application process. I'm going to be talking about how classes kind of work and how they're laid out. The FIT community and like social life, things like that. I'm going to talk a little bit about being a commuter. And then lastly, I'm going to give you guys some tips on how I think you can make the best of your FIT experience. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know you guys have been stressing me to get this up and I'm so sorry that it's so delayed, but I actually think it's better that I've been at FIT for a lot longer now, so I have like a really good sense of FIT to share with you guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I definitely think I'm going to start vlogging once school starts back up so you guys can actually see what FIT is like. So yeah, let me know down below if that's something you'd be interested in. But yeah, let's just get started. So just to give you guys a little bit of background, before applying to FIT, I actually went to like a technical school like for half of my high school day where I studied fashion design. So I did learn how to sew there and I did learn the basics of drawing, like the 9-head proportion kind of thing. Yeah, I'm just giving a little bit of reference. So I knew how to sew in terms of I could sew like a stitch, but I didn't really know how to finish garments or like make the inside seams look nice, or honestly, you know what I mean? Like they kind of just look decent from the outside. So for the design application, you have to go through the SUNY application and just submit your regular like SUNY application with all of your information and things. And then once that gets cleared, you'll have to submit like a basic FIT essay, which I believe might be standard based on all the majors. It kind of asks you like, why do you want to come to FIT? What makes you think that you're a good fit for your major and things like that. And then there's also a portfolio section that also asks you another little like essay. It's like a 250-word thing. It asks you about like, name a time you've ever gotten a dispute with like a boss or a teacher or something like that, and I'll get more into that. And then there's also a portfolio where you submit a mini collection of 2 figures and you kind of like, it's like they give you the criteria, the breakdown, but you're supposed to design like 1 shirt for both figures, a pant, I believe a skirt, and a jacket, something like that, but it's supposed to be all cohesive. And then they ask you to submit 4 individual designs, so they don't have to be cohesive, they could be all different. And these are all drawings, by the way, the designs that I'm talking about. And then lastly, there's literally so much to this portfolio. They ask you to sew or submit photos of 2 to 3 sewn garments. So I'm not going to go into detail about everything that I did. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of quick tips that I think could help you in every area. So when it comes to the main essay, the FIT essay asking you, why do you think you belong in your major? Why do you want to come to FIT? Everything like that. This was really hard for me to write because I realized that college essays are basically you bragging about yourself, and I'm not someone at all who likes to brag about myself or my accomplishments. So every time I was writing it and then someone would read it over, they're like, Ariana, you've done so much more. Like, you need to include these things. Ariana, you have way more experience, or like, these are things you need to include. You need to like make it sound a little better. And I'm kind of like, oh, I feel like I'm bragging. But just brag. Like, honestly, the best way to think about it is don't look like you're writing about yourself. Act like you're your friend and you're trying to get your friend a job and you're like wanting to tell the boss everything great about your friend. That's my tip about it, because honestly, they're not going to know how great you are or how passionate you are or the experience you have if you don't put it in that essay. So yeah, the other essay that's like 250 words that asks you about a time you got in a dispute or argument. I feel like a good way to answer this question is to kind of deflect the question, if that makes sense. Like, don't make it seem like, oh, you actually got in an argument. Kind of make it seem like there was a situation where it could have been an argument and you handled it well to prevent an argument or a dispute. I think that's the best way to handle this, because what they're looking for is people who can actually work in the industry. Because in the industry, you might work with like tough people, and honestly at FIT, you're gonna have... Okay, moving on to the designs. I don't know if I have really tips for that. I feel like just practice. I didn't really like my designs. I did all colored pencil And when you get to FIT your first year, you are going to use all marker. But you don't have to use marker on the design like portfolio. I don't think that really affects it. They literally say you can use any medium. But yeah, I didn't really like my designs. I feel like I learned how to really draw and find my style and really get better at FIT. So yeah, I don't really have too much advice for that. You guys can do though flats for the back views. You don't have to draw a back figure and a front figure. So if you're someone who's not really good at back views, definitely try to do flats and just keep them simple and clean. You guys can look up like tutorials online about how to do that. Now, when it comes to the sewn garments, again, I don't really have tips in terms of the sewing the garments, but just in terms of presenting them, when you're submitting your portfolio, they limit the amount of images that you can submit, which is a little frustrating when it comes to the sewn garment part. When I saw like that there was like a number, I was kind of like, ugh. So what I like to do and what I did was I took full-on body photos, like front and back off-centered, if you know what I mean, and then I inserted on the same photo, like kind of I guess like a collage, but I kept it very, very clean. I added close-up details within the garment because I feel like how are they going to see all the details in the garment and how well it was constructed or how cool it is if you're only like able to submit like 2 to 3 photos per garment. So I definitely recommend doing that. So yeah, that's all my tips for the portfolio process. I hope that helped in some way, shape, or form. It's a lot of work. Don't wait till the last minute. If you're thinking about applying, definitely do it ahead of time. Okay, now I'm going to talk about, I guess, campus, and then I'll get into like the class structure and how that works. So talking about campus, the A through D building are all on one side of the street on 27th Street, like on the block that FIT takes up. The E building is on the other side, and then next to it are the 3 dorms that are allowed for like freshmen, that like are the freshman dorms. There is an upperclassman dorm, but it's like a few blocks away and like a few avenues over. But yeah, FIT takes up a whole block, which is kind of nice because throughout like the school day, I believe until like 6 p.m. there's a gate and like cars aren't allowed to just drive on the street. There's like a security guard there and they only allow like certain cars in, which is really nice. So it is almost like a little kind of small campus kind of area. But it's not your normal campus. Now in terms of class structure for a fashion design major, classes are very long. Basically all of the design classes are like 3 to 5 hours. And it sounds like so long. When I first looked at my schedule, I was like, what am I going to be doing for like 5 hours? What am I going to be doing in a drawing class for 5 hours? Like, I don't even understand. But honestly, when you're in most of the classes, the time flies because almost, a lot of the other majors, especially in the business majors, they sit in lecture classes where they just sit there and they listen to the professor just lecture and talk the entire time. And their classes are about 1.5 hours to 3 hours. And I feel like that is way worse than having a design class for 5 hours because the way it works is usually the professor will demo. Sometimes, depending on the professor, they'll demo for like an entire hour, which can be a bit much, and then they'll let you work for the rest of the time and you could just do your own thing. Or sometimes, which is usually most of the time, professors break up the demo. So they'll do like a 30-minute demo and then give you an hour to go work on it, and then they'll do another 30-minute demo, give you an hour, you get like a 15-minute break, and then, you know, keep going like that until the class is over, which is pretty good. I feel like I'm very like a hands-on visual person. I feel like if you're applying to design, you probably are, which is why I actually like the way the class is set up. The way it works, if you guys are thinking about applying to fashion design but you don't know like what we do, basically you have to take main courses each semester. They kind of change sometimes. Which are usually, you take drawing, which is visual design concepts, every single semester. You take draping every single semester. You take pattern making your 3rd semester, like you start it, and you take sewing your first year, so 1st and 2nd semester. And then on top of that, you'll add in like your gen ed classes, which are like your art histories, English, science, math, and so on like that. And I believe if you do like 2 a semester, you'll like be on track to graduate on time. Also, I did want to mention that if you're someone who doesn't have that much experience, especially like sewing or things like that, honestly, you learn and you start with the basics first semester. Like, I was nervous that I was going to go in and so many people were going to be so much ahead of me or know so much, and I feel like the key to thriving at FIT, especially design majors, but in general, is to not be in competition with anyone else. Like, don't worry about anyone else, honestly. Like, just don't. Like, don't worry that someone's better than you. There's always going to be someone who's better than you. There's always going to be someone who's worse than you and that you could help. And that's just the matter of it. Just try to constantly better yourself and grow as a student and as a designer each semester and with every project. And I feel like if you keep that mindset and you stay focused on that, you'll probably have the most growth, and you'll probably have a good mindset. Because I see some students who, they literally drive themselves crazy worrying about everyone else and what other people are doing and trying to compete. And then you kind of just end up like copying someone else, or like you're subconsciously worried about someone else that you end up like replicating what they're doing. So definitely just don't worry about anyone else. Do not be in competition with everyone else. Just better yourself and try to like grow each project and things like that. The F.I.T community and social life is a bit different. I feel like everyone is very independent and to themselves, and then I feel like it also gets, I wouldn't say cliquey because it's not like cliques or rivalries, but I feel like people will join into like friend groups really quick, or you'll have the people who are just like kind of by themselves doing their own thing, or you know, kind of a mix of that. But I feel like a lot of people aren't like, they don't look that approachable, or they won't come up to you. But it turns out that behind a lot of these faces that look very intimidating, everyone at F.I.T is pretty nice for the most part. Like, I honestly have come across very few people that are just like rude, are mean. I feel like most people are just happy to be there. They're creative people, cool, laid back, you know? And I feel like if you just go up to people and talk to them, like, no one will ever just be like, I don't want to talk, or like, you know, get away from me. Like, they'll just start talking to you, which is really cool. So I definitely recommend joining clubs first semester and like first year in general. There's tons of clubs. Also, if you are a commuter, I definitely recommend staying on campus longer than just your classes. I cannot stress this enough. First year, I was like, I don't know what it was. I was like afraid, I think, like, to just be at F.I.T or to sit by myself or what. And I used to literally go to school, do my work, go to my classes, stay after to finish up my work, grab food, and go home. Like, that was it. And last semester, well, second semester I started to change, and then last semester, which was my third semester, I would just do all of my work at school. Like, I'd work in the library, I'd just go sit in the cafeteria, do drawing, just be on campus and be around. Because that way, like, you can build connections. Like, you would literally not even realize. Because what people fail to realize is F.I.T is not a normal college. You're not just making friends with people. Like, these are connections and networking. Talking to people at F.I.T is literally like going to a networking event. Like, all of these people are the future of fashion, the future of photography, the future of fine arts, the future of business. Like, all of these things. So you connecting and talking to someone, like, you have no idea. There's so many people that I've met, I talked to, and like collab with and worked with, and now we're like great friends, and I feel like we're gonna continue to like build and work together and grow in the future, which is amazing. So don't even like look at it necessarily as like, oh, I'm just trying to make friends, like, you know, for college or whatever, which is great. Like, obviously I've made tons of amazing friends, but I also feel like I've made a lot of connections as well by talking to people and just getting out of my comfort. I'm going to talk about being a commuter at F.I.T. Now, I'm not going to like give my exact location, but I do live north outside of New York City. So I do not live in New York City. When it comes to morning classes, it is not the most fun thing in the world. But I also realized that taking a lot of morning classes allows me to have a longer and more productive day. I also think, truthfully, commuting has allowed me to be a better student and be more on top of things. Because quite frankly, if I dormed, I would sleep to the last second. I would probably wait to the last minute to do my work. I would probably just be a lot more lazy, if that makes sense. And I'm already like a bit of a procrastinator. Not saying that dorming isn't good. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, me as a person, I've learned that commuting is actually pretty good and helpful for me, and I feel like it's allowed me to be successful at F.I.T. Also, commuting sometimes can also make you feel excluded from friends or things like that at first, which is why I cannot stress enough, stay on campus. Because people who dorm are around each other all the time, you know what I mean? So if you're not like there to build those connections, you might start to feel isolated from certain people or feel like certain people are closer than you. And again, just don't worry about those things. It's not something to stress. I don't know, I just feel like FIT is like a very driven and motivated school. I feel like everyone there who stays there, because a lot of people come to FIT and leave after the first semester because it's hard. But don't be intimidated. I'm just saying, like, it's a place that if you're there, you want to be there and you're trying to, like, you know, follow your dreams or make something out of it. It's a very like focused place. So I feel like as long as you also keep the intent of staying focused and knowing why you're there personally, whatever that may be, it's not the same for everyone. But just stay focused on that. It'll really get you through. So quickly, I want to talk about my overall experience at FIT, my opinions of it overall, and then I'm going to give you guys some tips on how I think you can have a very successful FIT experience. I think FIT is amazing. I think it is a very like motivated and driven school. I feel like the way that the classes are set up and what they teach you really prepares you for real life experience. I interned in the city with a company called Ariana.Ava for about 6 months back in high school, and I feel like all of the things they taught me at FIT would really prepare me to work in an actual industry setting, which I really like, because I feel like, no offense to any other school, I'm not bashing any other school, but some schools just allow you to be super creative and they don't give you that structure. They don't give you, like, they don't push you to be technical. They don't give you like the full package of what you need to actually be successful in the real world, which I love that FIT does. I also love that you're surrounded by so many creative individuals. You're surrounded by so many different types of people. See every like honestly culture and different styles and things like that, which I personally feel like is so inspiring to be around. I love to like look at different people's styles and just get inspired from that. It just really inspires me. Also, I love that you're around different types of art, like the fine arts majors, the photo majors, there's business majors. Like, you're around different types of majors and people. I do wish FIT made their hallways and their campus a little more inspiring and like maybe colorful. The fine arts building looks really cool. There's like paintings everywhere. It's like amazing in like the photo area. But I feel like the design area, I mean, they put up like artwork and stuff, but it looks a little bland. FIT, I think we could step it up. But yeah, besides that, I really like FIT overall. I honestly just feel like it's the only college I could ever go to. I feel like it's the only place I ever see myself, and it's just great. Like, I honestly have nothing bad to say about it. I feel like if you do not actually love fashion, if you do not actually want to work in the industry, then truthfully this might not be for you. I don't want to discourage anyone's dreams. I'm just saying, like, be prepared to put in the work, but know that in the end you're going to be like ready. Like, it's gonna prepare you, you know, and just make sure it's what you love to do. So yeah. Okay guys, so quickly I'm gonna give you guys some tips. They're kind of some things that I probably said in this video, but if you didn't like watch all the way through, I'm just gonna give you guys some overall tips on how to be successful at FIT, how to be happy, how to make the most of it. So yeah, tip number 1 is to stay focused, stay driven, stay on top of your work, and also just focus on yourself when it comes to work and things like that. Don't focus on who's better than you or who's worse than you or what someone else is doing. Focus on your own work and just strive to be better and push yourself from every project and every semester. Going along with that, make the most of your time, especially if you're a commuter. Plan ahead. Do not wait till the last minute, guys. I'm a procrastinator, but do not wait till the last minute. Like, I literally don't know how many more all-nighters it's gonna take for me to realize that I cannot wait till the last minute. And they're not fun. All-nighters are not fun at all. Like, number 3 is to stay on campus as long as possible, join clubs, and just talk to people. Do not be afraid to talk to people, no matter if they have like the meanest, straightest poker face on. Talk to people. People are a lot nicer than they tend to look, honestly. I feel like people put on that New York City face to, you know, get around and just get to where they have to go. But just talk to people. Don't be afraid to just make connections, meet new people, reach out, step out of your comfort zone, because you never know, that might end up being an amazing friend, that might end up being someone that you can work with in the future. That person might get you your dream job. You might be able to help that person get their dream job. You never know. Tip number 4 is to just make the most of every moment. Like, sometimes I feel like, especially design majors, especially midterms, especially finals week, you literally get so stressed and you're like sitting there like, why am I here? Why did I do this to myself? Like, that's it. This is my last semester. That's it. I can't do this anymore. Like, that's what it's going to be, honestly, realistically. Midterms, finals, it gets to be a lot. But I just feel like make the most of every moment. You know what I mean? This I really learned this past semester. Finals week, it was pretty tough. So what I decided to do in my classroom was every time someone accomplished like a task, I would shout it out and say like, Elle cut out all her fabric, and we'd all go woo and like shout for her, because I feel like you have to stay positive. Like, you have to. If you don't, you will literally start dwelling and like really questioning while you're there, because it's, you know, the workload gets there. So I feel like just make the most out of every moment. Have fun, like enjoy your time there, but also take it seriously at the same time, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think that's everything I have to say. If I didn't cover anything or you guys have any other questions, be sure to leave a comment down below. If you guys are wondering, I'm in the Fashion Design Associates program, and I'm finishing up my associates this next semester, and then I am applying to menswear, personally because I think that's what's going to suit me best. I really don't plan on working for someone else. I plan on having my own brand straight out of college. I'm releasing my first collection coming up this fashion week. So if you aren't already, you guys can follow my design page down below. It's Ariana.Ava.ny. My website will be launching during Fashion Week, and I'll be releasing my first ever pieces that I'm like releasing out. I've made a ton of stuff, but I'm like my biggest critic, so I never want to like release things. But yeah, I'm super excited about that. If you guys have any questions, or you guys want me to do a video on menswear in the future, or even my application process, then just let me know down below, and I will love to do that video for you guys. I really hope this video was helpful, and if you're thinking about applying to F.I.T. or you're applying, good luck. Definitely go for it if it's what you want to do. And if you guys are starting F.I.T. next semester or even the semester after, and you guys see me on campus, literally do not be afraid to just come up to me and say hi. I'm literally like the most talkative person. A lot of people say though I have a really intimidating face when I walk around campus. I'm trying to work on it. It's like that New York City face, especially because I commute. I like put on this face that like makes it seem like do not talk to me, so like strangers don't talk to me. But if you see me, talk to me. I promise I'll be nice. But yeah, good luck to everyone thinking about applying to F.I.T. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Again, be sure to subscribe because I will be doing more F.I.T. videos and related videos. And I think I'm going to start vlogging when school starts back up, so you guys can like see other people and like see all my creative friends and amazingness, so you guys can get inspired by what I get inspired by, and things like that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next one. Mwah. Bye guys.